Good evening, everybody. Here we are, another Thursday night on the grind. Unfortunately, we aren't streaming directly to the grind channel. We're only being able to stream to the YouTube channel, the Grind Biker Bull Off on the YouTube channel, and my personal page, Kevin Sockwell, on Facebook. We have a very special guest tonight, Mr. Greg Phillips, but I'm going to go on and take care of my advertisers first before we get into this interview. Anyway, so first up tonight in the interviewing is going to be Earl Hopkins at Hopkins Design. Hopkins Design does everything from web hosting, media, uh, drone footage, video footage. They do all kinds of logos, brand designing, anything you could possibly need. Plus, they build websites. So you need to go check them out at hopkinsdesign.com and let them know Kevin with the Grind sent you. Next up, as usual, our good friends over at Urban Rides Magazine. Urban Rides Magazine, established in 2019 by Mr. Daniel Roby. UrbanRidesMagazine.com, Urban Rides Magazine on Facebook. You can go get you a subscription, either a digital subscription right off the website, or you can get a print subscription and they will mail it to your door. While you're there, check out Street Bagger Magazine also. It is the sister magazine to it, and it's all good. When you go get it a subscription, let them know Kevin with the Grind sent you. What's up, Mr. Patrick Price? I appreciate you watching from the YouTube channel. Next up is our good friends over at J&D Custom Polishing and Plating. When it comes to chrome plating, there's nothing I can say about these guys other than they are the best. If you need chrome plating, you need polishing, you need anything like that, you've got to get with J&D Custom Polishing and Plating. The information's on the screen. You can get it J&D Custom Polishing and Plating on Facebook. You can get J&D Custom Polishing and Plating. I'm sure they have a website. I don't have it. I need to get that information. But reach out to them and let them know Kevin with the Grind sent you. Next up, our friends over at Stellar Customs, home of the all 100% true carbon fiber windshields for your touring model Harley Davidsons, your street glides, road glides. You got it. They got it. All kinds of patterns, all kinds of colors. You need to get with them. Get with them at stellarcustoms.com and let them know Kevin with the Grind sent you. Next up is our good friends over at Indiana and Northern Illinois Thunder Roads Magazine. So I think it's changed. I think it's Indiana and Illinois Thunder Roads Magazine. Am I right or am I wrong, Miss Marsha Fitzpatrick? At any rate, it is a great magazine. If you live in those areas, get you a subscription. Go by any of the shops. I'm pretty sure they're free. But hell, even if they're not free, man, they are worth the price. Go by, get you a copy, look for the Grind on the inside of it, look for all the cool calendars, information, readers' rides, all kinds of cool stuff going on in that magazine. Go get you a copy. Next up, American Drag Seats, AmericanDragSeats.com. You have a Harley, I have a seat for you. You want something custom, I can take care of you. From airbags to custom stitching, custom seats, anything you could possibly want, we do it. Full line of Harley Davidson replacement seats. We actually do custom seat pans, custom seat foam shaping. Anything you got, we can do it. AmericanDragSeats.com, or you can get us at American Drag Seats on Instagram or American Drag Seats /Attitude Inc. on Facebook. Next up, our very good friends over at hellspeedshop.com. hellspeedshop.com. Not only is it a hellspeedshop.com, but the guy built some amazing hot rods, just all kinds of cool stuff. They have the best, in my opinion, the best flannel shirts in the industry, period, point blank, the end, plus their collector's items. They don't do thousands and thousands and thousands. They do specific numbers of runs. Once they're done, that's it. You can't get it again. You got to barter with people to get them. They're very awesome shirts. I've got about 8 of them myself. You see me in them. I wear their T-shirts. The flannels, great stuff. Go to hellspeedshop.com, look for the Grind logo, save yourself a little scratch, and let them know Kevin with the Grind sent you. Next up, Legacy Bike Works. Legacy Bike Works right here in Manville, Texas. Full audio shop, custom builds. We do all kinds of, whether you have a chopper, a bobber, a bagger, it doesn't matter. We work on them. We do audio. We even take on a lot of stuff that a lot of other shops just refuse to do. Look us up on Facebook and on Instagram at Legacy Bike Works, and tell me I sent you. Okay, everybody. So tonight it's a little different because we're having to go over to YouTube because Facebook is having issues with their whatever it's called. I have no idea what it is. It would not let me post onto Facebook on the grind page for some reason. So I'm glad you guys have moved over. You're over here watching on YouTube. In the YouTube land, it's what we need. If you don't follow the page, man, follow the page, subscribe, hit the little bell to get the notifications. It's better for everybody if we do this on YouTube. But tonight we have a special guest, and man, I'll tell you what, it's been a long time since I've had somebody that I was actually excited about having on the show because I know the guy personally. He's right here from Houston. He has one of the most iconic bikes in Houston. If I say the name of the bike, you're going to know who he is. The Green Turd. Mr. Greg Phillips himself was in the house to discuss everything to deal with stereos. And here we go. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Greg Phillips to the show. What's happening, Captain?
What's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm upset because I can't get this flipping thing to work right the way I want it to.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you, man.
So what's happening, man? So
man,
you made a post, I want to say it was earlier this week, about somebody when you were in a competition, they were somehow able to hook up with your DSP, and they kind of did you wrong, man. So tell me about what happened, man.
Yeah, man. So I was at a show, and I won't say what show I was at, but I was at a show, man, and we had 2 1.5 minute rounds each competitor. So I was in there and I played or whatever, and my bike is old, man, and I ride my bike, and it's old. I built my bike a long time ago, and it's old. It's outdated to the new rules. So, but I'll still pull up and I'll send it. Anybody knows I'll pull up and send it, and I'll ride, send it. So I got to the house, man, and with my OCD, I started checking everything over, and I connect to my DSP, and I look at my subwoofer settings, and they're from 1500 hertz to 5000 hertz, and I'm like, what? Like, come on, man! Like, subwoofers, like that's unreal. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. I like to have not to everybody. I have a Dayton DSP 408. I think it is one of the best budget DSPs that are out there, and I have the Bluetooth dongle on it because I tune my own bike. I do my own bike, so I have multiple tunes on my bike to whatever setting I'm in. I can check tunes on the fly on my phone. Unfortunately, after the 3 or 4 years that I've had this is the first time it's happened to me, man, and it's not cool that people would do that, not at a show, but just anywhere, because we spend money on these bikes and a lot of money on this audio, and who knows what could have really happened. You know what I mean?
Well, I was gonna say, okay, so you were talking about the hertz. So explain the hertz for a subwoofer so people understand, because I don't think people understand what actually happened. Like, how could that hurt something?
Oh no, so my subwoofers. I'm running dual 8s in my, and I'll tell everybody what I have my sub. I have my subwoofers crossover from 38 hertz to 100 hertz because they play subsonic frequencies, right? You know, low frequency, my mid range, my mid bass. They don't want vocals or anything like that. So basically, they tried to turn my subwoofers into a mid range, putting it from 1500 to 500. So it basically almost eliminated my tune that I had in my subwoofers.
Yeah. Wow. So between me, you, and Fence Post, and everybody watching, do you think it was somebody maliciously doing it, or do you think it was just an accident? Someone jumped on, oh crap, and they started pushing buttons.
So I'll tell anybody this. My personal opinion is that I think it was malicious because my tunes, because of the name that I was given. So this bike, the name was given by the Green Turd by Dorian Thomas. Okay, he's the one that named my bike the Green Turd a long time ago.
It's a good name.
Ran with it. And so on my tunes, they are labeled Green Turd, 13, Green Turd 13-1, Green Turd 13-2 for multiple tunes that I have that I'm setting. So they absolutely knew that they were connected to my bike.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing I was going to ask is it seems like to me, because, my son Devin's into audio, you actually have to download the app for
Mm-hmm.
that DSP.
Yep.
So and I'm not calling anybody out, but what I am going to say, somebody had to know that that was a DSP that you were using. They had to have downloaded the app. So when they walked up, because I could walk by your bike with my phone with my Bluetooth on, it will not connect to your DSP. I have to pair it to your DSP. So
Correct.
somebody had already previously paired to your bike. It's the only way it would show up. It
Well,
won't just automatically link. Is
so
my
if you DSP, the Dayton DSP app, because this happened to me when I've been on the brand, a rally or like that, where I get onto my phone and I try to pair to my DSP, and so when it pops up, you can get for whoever's running, how many other people are next to you that are running the Dayton DSP, they will all pop up, right? So it will say if there's 3 people next to me that are running the DSP 408, it'll pop up and say DSP 408, and I gotta just guess to which one is mine. So there,
really,
where I've connected to somebody's that wasn't mine, and I'll automatically disconnect to it. You know what I mean?
really,
Absolutely. Yeah. With the Dayton, it's like that. So there's been times where I paired to other people's DSPs that have Bluetooth on their Daytons because I have the app. And if you have a DSP, a Dayton DSP, and we can get 3 people, 4 people, 5 people together, and we're next to each other and we try to connect, all 5 of those will pop up to connect to. And you got to guess which one is yours.
right.
And I've connected to other people's that weren't mine before, and I'm just like, oh shit, and automatically disconnect and then try, see which one is mine so I can make changes. It
Wow.
doesn't happen so much at shows because shows you don't have, a lot of people playing at the same time. But at when you're out in the parking lot or whatever, and everybody's running a similar DSP with that Bluetooth on, it happens.
So I know on my phone, dude, I don't know what DSP I've got. I've got a cool DSP, but I know that on my phone when I first paired it, it asked me, do you want to pair with this? And because I'm in my garage, that's the only thing popping up. I
Mm-hmm.
click it, yes. But I also found inside my phone that when I go to the Bluetooth, because it'll give me like my little ear pods, you know what I'm saying? So I've got headphones for the gym. So instead of just letting it connect to the JBL audios or to I don't know what the headphones are called, but anyway, I actually can rename everything I connect to. So like my truck, when I connect to my truck, it actually says truck. Connect to the earbuds, it says earbuds, or the headphones, it says headphones, because I renamed everything. When I
Correct.
connect to my bike, it's actually called the Twisted King. So
Mm-hmm.
if, like you said, when other people come up and you got like, you don't know how many DSPs are popping up, I know which one's mine because it pops up Twisted King. So I always know that's the one. So are you able to change the name of them also?
So on the iPhone, I am able to change the name on the iPhone setting, right? So I changed the name on the iPhone setting to my bike.
Yeah.
But when you go to the actual DSP, the Dayton DSP 408 app, you cannot change the name of the app.
Well, yeah, the app. I get that because you have to have the app. Well, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
So whenever someone connects, they could be the same position you're in and not know which one to connect to. But I do know when you connect, you have to open the app to change
correct.
the settings. So
Correct.
somebody had to know exactly what they were doing.
Correct. Correct. And like I said, they knew it was my bike because of the name of my right? Like there's no secret name in my tunes. Like I name them Green Turd, right? I
Right.
ran with, so they absolutely knew it was the Green Turd.
Right. So the reason I'm saying all this is to play devil's advocate because it's the more we talk, the more the proof is somebody, even if you connected to somebody's Bluetooth, somebody else's, even if
Yes,
you push connect, you can't change anything. You got to go into the app to
correct.
change it. So somebody did do it on purpose. And you know what I have to say to that? That's what I have to say to him right there.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Because I think that's bullshit, and I think it's wrong. Um, but hearing again, man, between you and me and all the people watching, I think this audio game is actually out of hand. And you and I were talking the other day
Yep.
about I want to actually do an audio show, and
Yep.
people are going to instantaneously be like, "Dude, no, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're not. Nobody's going to come to your audio show."
Let me interrupt you real quick, man. Did we ever all start out knowing what we were doing?
No, dude, I didn't even start this podcast to know what I'm doing, and I'm fixed to work on 5 years of doing it.
Like I told you when you invited me on this live, I was like, man, this is the first live I've ever done. Let me know when you bring me on live. Make sure I'm not picking my nose or something, man. You know, like this is the first live I've been on. I've been invited on since I've been doing this because I do all my stuff in the background and I don't need any praise. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is.
Yeah,
but
it's not. You need to come on because people need to hear what you say because you're a very. So, in my opinion, you are very well known in Texas, not just Houston. You are known, and the Green Turd is known in Texas.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I mean, it's just a true thing. When I hear people say Green Turd, I'm like, that's him. I know exactly who you're talking about. Tread lightly because I know who you're talking about. You see what you're saying. I know what you're talking about. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But when it's gotten so technical that just your everyday rider, the people that honestly pay the shop's bills, they don't compete because they can't afford to compete. And I've been noticing a lot, man. You go to these shows, it's always the same. There's probably 20, maybe 30 different people, and they kind of cycle in and out, but it's always that group of people. And I wanted to do a show where you actually had the 2-speaker bikes, your customers coming in, the 4-speaker bikes. You know what I'm saying? Where it's more for the crowd participation to roll their bikes in than it is for the big shops and the builders. Don't get me wrong. I'm still going to go to the other shows because as a shop, we need to be out there representing the shop just to show the other builders what we do, just to show the fans that come to the big shows, let them know what we do. But I also want to do a show that's not professional, that every Joe in the parking lot can jump off into.
Yes, I absolutely agree, man. That's what I'm saying. I mean, these and I've been saying it for a while, man. Like these shows are pushing away the average person. You know what I mean? Back when I started this, man, the first bike I had doing audio was a Yamaha, man. Like it was a Yamaha Harley bags on it. It was a Yamaha Harley.
So how many years ago did you own a Yamaha?
Oh, dude, I've been doing this for like 8 or 9 years, man.
So when was the year you sold the Yamaha? You were done with it?
Actually, I never wanted to sell that Yamaha, man. I actually got ran off the road and totaled that Yamaha.
Okay, so it was the year before that I met you.
Yes.
Because I talked to you about that bike, and I was like, I'm not a Harley, man.
Yeah.
You had to fabricate a lot of stuff to make that. Now, I'm not going to go into any names with that bike because at that time,
I had help with that bike. Absolutely.
Well, at that time, you had help other people with that bike, but yes. I know that's not the way it is.
Yeah.
Dude, look at this. You got to see. You have to see this. I have to show you because right now we have a lot of people watching, but they're not watching from YouTube. They're watching from my personal page. But look at all these freaking comments, dude. If you can see them, hold on. They're rolling, dude. So when the show's over with, I feel bad because it's not on the grind page, but my personal page has, I don't know, 5,000 more followers than the grind page has. So it's better actually. You got to go back and read all these comments. It's
for sure.
It's great. Dude.
So man, my first bike, my Yamaha, man, it was named, and I think I still have a shirt that they made me. It was called the fucking piece of shit. That's what they called it. Actually,
fucking piece of shit.
Still got the hat in there, man, because I used to pull up next to all these guys with Harleys and stuff, and they called it the fucking piece of shit. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever it is, what it is, man. But back then, lightweight was a different category back then,
Oh, yeah.
So I had may have been one of the only or the first one. Like I said, I've had help. You know what I mean? I'm not taking the credit with the Yamaha. I had help with doing it, but I may have been one of the first ones in Houston that had the Ground Zero yellow baskets in their fucking bags, the 10-inch Ground Zero 250 XPLs in their bags, and it was like, that was unheard of back then. You know what I mean? Like, and then and there's other shops that were putting subwoofers in back then, but Houston, we got on the game later, but now we're compared to everybody else. I'll put up a bike from Texas against anybody in the country. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like we've caught up so dramatically to where the industry has started. And I'll give the East Coast their credit. The East Coast is on. They have some phenomenal bikes over there, but there's some people over there that started this. Even in their garage, building parts in their garage. And one of the guys, and I don't know if you mind or not if I shout out his name, but Munir
Yeah.
Ali. Munir Ali was one of the guys that I was looking forward to me so bad after I built my bike, and he custom made his bike, and that back then was the heavyweight. When I heard that bike in Atlanta, I went to Falcon Fury Atlanta, my first SOS show, man. I heard that bike, and I was just like, wow, like that's coming from a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what?
Here's a great guy. When we
Yeah,
first actually met, he used to watch the show, man. He did not like me. I did not like him. I thought he was an arrogant ass. But then I
yeah,
met him in Daytona in 19. And I'll tell you what, dude, you walk up to somebody and it's just, you get a vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we're solid. And then me and him would talk. And then he came on my show. He's one of those dudes that's a hard worker. He
yep,
probably works more hours at his day job than probably 14, 16-hour days to be able to afford what he's done to the bikes. But he
yep.
put everything into that bike, man. And I'll tell you
Man,
what, I never got to hear it, but I've
he,
heard it was the best.
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean the bike was huge. You know what I mean? The bike was huge, but it flowed. It looked great. You know what I mean? I mean everything was big on it. The fairing was big on it. The bags were big on it. The tank was big on it. The tour pack was big on it. But it flowed together, and he played that bike good, man. When I heard that bike, I was actually on the other side of the parking lot when he started playing, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I had to walk over there to hear him playing, man. And I was like, "Wow!" Like it was insane. You know what I mean? This was, man. You know, so you know what I mean? Like, wow, a lot's changed since then. You know what I mean? Not, Munir was one of the pioneers in the audio
Oh yeah,
back. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
So surely we have more to talk about than just that DSP.
Yeah. What you got, man?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Man, look, hey, man, look, man, I'm here to. I wanted to come on this show, man, to tell people, man, like, don't like. There's all these rule changes that are going on now, and I'll bring it up right now. Everybody's seen it that are in the bagger audio and competitive and everything like that. There's all these rule changes that are going on. And this is what I tell everybody when they say and they come to me and this is that, man. Look, man, and me and I'll say his name. I don't know if he's watching now because I can't see, but me and Lee talked about this, and we said, man, look, man, 5% of the time, 5% of the time you're playing your bike at an audio show. 5% of the time. You're going to go to SOS. You're going to go to King of Texas. You're going to go to I-35. You're going to go to Banger. You're going to go to your show when you start. You're going to go to all these shows, and it's 5% of the time that you own your bike. The other 9 to 5% of the bike, that bike's going to be in your garage. That bike's going to be that bike's going to be at the rally. That bike's going to be a bike. So why would you build your bike to rules for a show? Build your bike for you. And whatever you fall into when you go to a show, play in that. Whatever. It's your
Yes.
dream. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Perfectly said.
it's your bike. You paid for it. You're the one that's doing it. You own it. It's sitting in your garage. If you enjoy the bike, who cares if Joe Smo says your bike sounds like shit? It's your bike, and if you love it, it's your bike.
Absolutely. Dude, that's I would have never ever thought about that or even thought to word it that way, but that is probably like hitting a bullseye. You
Yeah.
play your bike 5% of the time for competitions and rules, but you enjoy that bitch 95% of the time. So why build it for 5%? Build it for 95%. And if you compete, what is the most expensive show out there? 25 bucks entry fee, 50 bucks entry fee?
I think the most expensive show I've been to, which was a charity show, and I didn't mind. It was $50. It was a charity show.
Yeah.
So
But you're spending $50 to show up and show out. That's what
exactly,
you're doing.
exactly.
Dude, that's freaking great. That is great. I would have never thought about that.
Like, man, what means more to me now, man, because I've been doing this competition stuff for a long time, man. And back in the day, man, and you can ask people that knew me back in the day whether they lying or they telling the truth. I don't know matter. There used to be people that pull up to the shows and they would be like, man, when I had my lightweight, they were like, hey, man, is Greg coming? And they were like, yeah, he's gonna show up. And they were like, man, I ain't even gonna.
Man, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, and you know that I was like, man, no, just sign up and have fun. You know what I mean? Like, and that's my thing, man. I'll show up, I'll have fun, and you know, like, let's be honest, man. Like, we spend a lot of money building these bikes. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money building these bikes. It ain't cheap. And we spend a lot of money traveling to go to these shows. It's not cheap. Get your bike on a trailer, fuel, hotel, everything like that. If you are not having fun doing it, win or lose, then don't do it.
Yeah. Well, then
Then
what's the point? Why do it at that point?
exactly. I personally have more fun seeing people at the shows that I haven't seen in a long time, hanging out with people at the shows I haven't seen in a long time. Me and you talked about this the other day. When if you see me at a show, there's hardly ever any time that you see me just sitting in a chair. I'm always running around helping everybody, talking to everybody, anybody needs anything, this and that, whatever, because that's just the type of person that I am. And I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything, you know what I mean? But I enjoy helping people and I enjoy seeing the people that I haven't seen for a long time to do those types of things. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's the camaraderie, and that means more to me than that $50 that I paid to enter the show to win a $5 trophy. I mean, and it is. It is absolutely what it is. And what means more to me, Kevin, and I know I'm ranting right now, but what means more to me, man, is when I pull in and play my and you have 2, 3 judges, 4 judges, 5 judges, or whatever. They all vote against me. They all vote for me, or whatever. What means more to me is the people that are all in the crowd and listening to my bike. Those are the people that are going to come to your shop. Those are the people that are going to come spend money. Those are the people that are like, man, I want that sound. Not the judge that voted against.
So let
Not
me
the,
ask you your opinion.
you know,
So let me
even
ask
the
you,
he ain't gonna come. It's the people in the crowd that come to me and they're like, "Hey, man, I love your bike, man. What do you have, man? Man, you were, man. You know, you should have won. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Hey, it is what it is. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Here's my number. Hit me up." Those are the people that you go to for the show.
let me ask you a question because it's funny you just said that. You're making me think a lot. I like this. So if you go to a show and you're the big bad, you're the monster at that show. Nobody that show is going to beat you. Do you think that person, the king of the hill, or the guy that got knocked out maybe 2 or 3 rounds in, who do you think is going to get approached more? The king of the hill or the guy that got knocked out after the second or third round?
It depends, okay? And this is the thing. It depends because everybody has a different sound. Everybody wants a different sound. So people may like my sound. People may like the way Lee tunes bike. People may like the way so bike or baby legs or whoever. They may like bike. It depends because everybody has a different taste of when you pull into the ring and what music you play and how your bike sounds. So yeah, you may have the guy that is the top dog that won everything. You know what I mean? And like, of course, you're gonna have people come and this and that, whatever. But not everybody in that crowd may agree with them judges that he was supposed to be the top dog.
Well, that wasn't my point. My point was you misunderstood it. If I roll into a ring and I have a 6 speaker bike or even an 8 speaker bike, 2 in the fairing, 2 in the lids, 2 in the tour pack, and the saddlebag sealed.
Yeah.
And I roll in, and me and my wife roll in, and we're just playing the radio. But when I get in the ring, they're like, holy shit, that's a stereo bike? And then you start banging because you got the sealed bags, you got some mid-bass woofers in there. It's tuned good, but it's not, the top tier. It's the rider tier. I would think that people would be like walking up, be like, dude, you got all that sound out of that many speakers?
Exactly.
Well, that dude over there, the king of the hill, he's got like 18 speakers. He can't ride his bike. Well, I want to be able to ride my bike. That's what I hear the most when I go to competitions is, man, that's a badass bike, but I can't afford that. But that bike right there, man, that thing sounded badass. And it only had 4 speakers in it. I want that. So it depends on what you're going to go to the show for. To compete for the trophy, or are you going to compete to be seen?
Exactly. And to me, man, it's like I've been doing this for a long time, man. And believe me, I was the anal type of person that I had to win every show. I was tearing my bike down every show, and I had to, you know what I mean? And like it's over with for me, man. And to me, it's more about the people when I show up to it, and people tell me my bike sounds good. People come and look at my bike, and I got scratches, and my fender's chipped, and my fairing is chipped, and my gas tank is chipped. I got chips all over it, man, because I ride it. You know what I mean? Like what it is. So when I put subwoofers in my bags, not only am I looking at the specs of those speakers or those subwoofers that I put on my bike, I am also looking at the weight of them, because
yeah,
I don't want to put subwoofers that weigh, 40, 50 pounds each. And I got 100 pounds plus the bag. So I'm looking at 130, 140 pounds per saddlebag on the back. You know what I mean? Like no, I don't want to do that.
I know
Right.
exactly what you mean.
So what a lot of people, and I'll tell anybody right now, man, my bike is a middleweight bike. I have less watts than probably most 6-speaker bikes out right now. I have 7,600 watts on this bike.
Okay, well, you just impressed the shit out of me.
I have one 1200. I have the old 1200. Man, my 1200 is bigger than my 5K I got on my subs. I got the old 1200, the 2 old 800s, and one 5K. That's the only thing that is on this bike.
Really?
7,600 watts. I will pull it apart at any show and show anybody.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying, man. It's all about how you use it and how efficient you are. And like I said, I look at the weight of things. I don't just, man, I'm gonna throw in and I'm not gonna throw any brands under the name. You know what I mean? So and so's brand. This speaker weighs 50 pounds, and then I'm gonna throw 2 of them in a saddlebag, and then now I got 50, 200 pounds on the rear end, and I can't ride it over 50 miles per hour. What good is it? It's a motorcycle. It's a motorcycle. At the end of the day, it's a motorcycle
that you can't ride. But
yeah.
That what everybody says is, well, you don't drive a top fuel dragster either. It's purpose built. I get that. I get it. But are you going to sell to this big of a group, or are you going to sell to this big of a group? Because it's the 2-speaker, the 4-speaker, the 6-speaker, the 8-speaker. I think that's the group that's the largest, because that includes your everyday rider. That includes guys like me that I still want to ride my bike, but I want to bang. A lot of guys they want to bang, but they don't want to seal and port the bags because their wife wants to throw stuff in the bags or this, that, or the other. So, I mean, I get it, but what I don't get is, and this is one of the things, and I could throw a lot of names out there, and I'm not going to, because it just, to me, it doesn't show much class on my side, but I'm trying to show that when these guys take this fucking audio stuff serious, dude, there's fist fights. There's all kinds there's girls fighting, hitting men hitting girls. I've heard so much crap, and I'm like, you mean to tell me you built this bike, you dropped, say, $15K to have a banging stereo, you got to a competition, and somebody judged it the way you didn't like, so there was a fucking fist fight?
So, Kevin, this is the way that I explain to everybody that wants to get into this audio competition and bagger audio competition. Okay, and this is the way I explain to everybody, and people that are watching your live. I probably told them the same thing multiple times. Okay, me and you can build a 6-speaker bike. Okay, exactly the same. Okay, I'm talking about exactly the same power, the same tune, the same speakers. I mean, it is identical to each other besides the color. Okay. And we can pull up to, and I'm not going to throw any shows in their name. We can pull up to A show, okay?
Yeah.
And we play the same song with 3 judges and the same volume, and we go back and forth, the same song. Everything is exactly the same, and you'll win that show, okay? Now we'll go and we'll travel to B show, okay? And we repeat the process of the same bikes and the same song and the same volume and everything exactly the same, and then you'll win. That's how much sense it makes.
Yeah, I know.
That's how much. Crazy. So why are you going to, as grown men? Now, don't get me wrong. Like we talked before, like, man, like as grown men, why are you going to throw hands over a it's like throwing hands over a football game, or, an NFL game. Like, bro, they don't pay my bills. Like, what? Like, what? Like, come on, man. Like, you gonna fight for that? Like, no, man. It just don't make no sense, man. And it's like, this is all opinion based. This is not SPL. This is not, the highest decibel, the highest breed. It's all opinion based. And that's what I tell everybody, man. You may win some, you may lose some. And there was a guy at the last show that we went this weekend, and I was messing with him because I wasn't judging. And I told him, and he laughed it off, and he's cool with me. I said, hey, man, you might win because I'm not judging. And he started, or whatever. I was like, cool. He and he won. You know what I mean? He made the adjustments to win that show because those judges liked what he did.
Yeah.
What I like may not be what you like, may not be what whoever likes, but those judges liked it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's opinion based.
Well, that is one consistent thing with all of the 5 different shows out there that I know of, is every judge says the same thing. Dude,
Yeah.
You might win today and you might lose tomorrow. It just depends on the judges that you have that day, because they're all different. And that's one of the things I like when Keith Barker says, if you have a judge that doesn't even own a fucking motorcycle, then he should not be judging. All the judges should have built their own bike, done their own stereo. That shows proof that they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. At least know what they're doing. But that's one of the biggest controversies I heard is the judging. Everybody gets pissed off at the judging. It's like, well, who in the fuck would you have judge it to make it 100% fair? Because even in bike shows are the same way. They're always pissing a bit. Well, they didn't judge my bike right. Well, it's all politics. It's all this. And to a degree, I have to agree. It is when somebody like you, if I was going to take my little 8 speaker and go against your bike, I would be worried because you have such a fucking name in this industry. I'd be like, well, he's the well-known guy. I'm probably going to lose, but at least I'm getting to go against that well-known guy. But when you get to the show and you start banging, you really don't know who's going to win, because I'll tell you, it gets crazy to me.
Man, and I mean, and I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that, that there may not be, politics in it, or there may not be, I mean, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't know. I don't go to every show and I don't judge every show. I'm not going to sit here and lie to the people watching the show and be like, oh yeah, there's not, you know what I mean? I don't know. There may be. I've never seen it personally. And, I've been judging shows a long time. I've been traveling to these shows a long time. And, I've made $0 doing it. I've never been paid to judge a show. I've never been paid by anybody, be like, hey, pick my bike or whatever. You know what I mean? I've never made anything off of doing it. It's all been my own time. I've taken vacation to travel to these shows off of my job because I work a fucking 48-hour plus job. I work in the plants. So I take vacation to go to these shows and judge these shows to do the best that I can do to where people will get a fair chance, because I've been on the other end of the stick where there's been a judge that probably shouldn't have been judging. You know what I mean? But it's his opinion. I don't think that he was like out to get me. It was just his opinion, whether it was a good one or a bad one. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to step away and I'm going to start judging. And I told Lee I'd help him out, and I'll start judging and this like that. And I told Lee, I said, man, look, man, I'm not the best judge in Texas, but I'll tell you what, I'll be the most fair judge. Nobody pays me. Nobody does anything for me. Nobody, I'm going to pick the best bike that I think is the best bike. And it may be not what the other judges pick, but I don't care. There's been multiple times where other judges picked a bike and I picked a different bike, and it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? That's their opinion.
And you're still the bad guy.
Yeah.
Even though you try your best to be fair, you're still the bad guy. That's the part that I don't understand. And you're still the fucking bad guy.
So there's people that talk about the judges and stuff like this and that and whatever. And I wanted to post, and I'm like, well, hey, say what you got to say, because I was one of the judges at the show. So if you're going to get on Facebook and you're going to make a blatant comment, which I don't like, because I think Facebook is for people to hide behind a keyboard, man. And like, it ain't back in the day where we would meet up and, and we were talking, and if we didn't like what it was, I mean, we would throw hands, you know what I mean? Like, no, you get behind that keyboard and everybody wants to talk. This and that. With times where I was a judge at that show. You were saying that the judges were not fair. I was a judge at that show. So what was not fair? Oh, well, not you, not you. Okay. Well, don't say
No, not you, not you, not you, because
well,
you're
no,
talking to
don't,
them.
don't say judges. Call them out by their name. Whether it's me, Greg messed up, Lee messed up, T Funk messed up, Ed Rock, all these judges, call them out by their name. If you are that so prominent and so out vocal about the judges being bad, don't throw out a blatant comment. Call that judge out by their name. Don't just say the judges, because that's all the judges want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like nobody wants to do that because I'm sorry to say they're full of shit. Like you're full
yeah.
of shit. You know, like it is.
So because you're a judge, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you're judging a bike show and somebody walks up to their bike while they're playing in their 90 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and they take and put their foot under their fender and hold their fender up so it doesn't rattle, do you take that into consideration in the way the bike sounds, or do you think they should put their foot down, and if your bike rattles, you should let it rattle? You shouldn't be allowed to walk up and lean against it or put your foot on it. What do you think about that?
So my personal that's kind of like a double sword. You know what I mean? Like, if you that's like so this is the way I look at it. So if you're playing your bike and you switch songs and that you switch to is recorded differently and it's super loud, what would you do? Turn down your volume. You would correct the situation. So therefore, if they do that, okay, do I notice it? Yes, I know. Did I notice rattles? I'll tell you right now, I hate rattles. I will spend all night on my bike chasing rattles, sleep in my garage chasing rattles. I hate rattles, okay? And I think it takes away from the whole system. I really do. I hate rattles. But if it's the same thing as far as correcting your bass knob, correcting your volume, correcting, you know what I mean? Like, make the correction. Now, is it politically correct or whatever? No, you know what I mean? But you're doing what you got to do in the ring to make it sound better. So if you hear a rattle from your floorboard or something like that, and you stand on your floorboard or whatever, the rattle goes away. Me personally, I'm not going to hold it against you because you made the adjustment, right? It's just like overplaying the song. If you switch songs and you have this song that you switch to and it's recorded differently and it's just super loud and you turn down the radio, you made the adjustment to fix it.
Okay, so me personally, I'm glad you said that because that changes my opinion a little bit. I would do what you said. I would spend all night in the garage chasing rattles before I go into the ring and have to lean against the saddlebag to keep the latch from rattling or put my foot under it to keep the license plate from rattling. Now that you've said it the way you said it, I kind of understand why you take it into consideration when you see them do it, but you don't call them out for it because you consider it an adjustment on the fly like anything else. The bass knob. Yeah, that's a good thing you brought that up because people are asking questions.
I seen a guy pull into the ring, man, and his license plate were rattling, man, and I hope he don't get mad because I called him JoJo, and he has a gold wing, man, and he pulled into the ring one time, man, and his license plate was rattling. It was rattling real bad at one of the shows. And I'll help people out, man. Like, I will give you my opinion, and whether you go with it or not, it's up to you. You know what I mean? I'm not always right. Not all the judges are right. Like, whether you go with it or not, that's you make the judgment call. So his license plate was rattling real bad. He lost. He came into the redemption round, and he had a freaking a cloth underneath his license plate so it wouldn't rattle no more, man. And I was like, all right, cool, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you fixed it before you got in the ring.
Yeah.
So please take the time when the show's over with, go to my page.
Oh, for sure.
And go look at all the comments because the comments are a very, very big part of this show. I love the comments, dude. I literally go back myself and read them because I love the comments.
Good comments with me on the show, man.
So I'm glad that you actually said that because even my opinion was like, I think that's bullshit. I don't want to say they should be disqualified, but I'll be damned if they're going to win the show when there's a bike that's so close that doesn't have rattles.
Yes.
But the way you explained it, now I understand. I get it.
So
because
it's
I
this
didn't get it before.
thing like if me and you pull up next to each other, man, right? We're competing against each other, and I have a rattle and you have a rattle, right? So and Baby Legs did this on his live the other day, and I have a rattle and you're sitting there rattling his ass off, right? And then you play and you just have a little rattle. Well, you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Like this dude won. This dude rattling his ass off. This dude isn't. And then you gotta start looking at your mids, your highs, and everything else. You know what I mean? These bikes are getting so close together, Kevin. Back in the day when I started this, and anybody can fucking say I'm a liar and they're full of shit. Back in the day when I started this, there was a clear winner. Like there was a clear winner, bro. You pulled in, and there was a clear winner. It was like this dude just ran everybody over, man. And I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I was one
You
of
were
them.
that guy.
There was a clear winner, man. Like there was no like it was like all right, this dude won. Now that everything has progressed the way that it has, these bikes are so close that it is fucking hard to judge, man. It is hard to judge.
Well, one thing that gets me is when they tell you, do not buy your equipment until you're ready to install it and play it, because the equipment changes so
Oh,
fast. And I'm
yes.
like, okay, I get that. I get that the equipment changes so fast. But like you said earlier, are you building it for 5% of the time or 95% of the time?
Yep.
I just had this conversation with Brian the other day about, because we tore my blue bike
Brian,
down. Yeah, Brian Barber. And I
yeah,
explained it to him.
my guy Brian Barber, man. That dude's cool as shit, man.
He is a good guy. He
Yeah.
puts up with my shit, so he is a good guy. But when I was talking to him, he's like, "You're an idiot. Don't buy your fucking equipment now. You don't even know when you're going to get done with the bike." And I was like, "I get that." I said, "But I'm not building it to go out and win the competitions. I'm building it to go out and show we know what we're doing. We can do this."
Yes.
But I'm also building it for Galveston on a Saturday night on the Strand where everybody's parking lot pimping, because I know for a fact I'm going to have buddies on either side of me and they're going to be pimping with me. I mean, it's for the fun. I think it's for the fun. I think it needs to get back to the fun.
Let me tell you a story real quick, man. I was in 6th Street in Austin, okay? Multiple people, they may be on this live. I can't see, man, but there's a lot of people that are on 6th Street with me jamming, man. And I'll play my bike, dude. I don't care if my batteries go down to 9 volts and they fucking go bad and I have to replace them. I don't care. My bike is dead, okay? So I was on 6th Street and I was playing my bike, man. And there's a video that somebody recorded, and I'll find it. And I was playing, a wobble song, some song everybody's dancing to. Man, there was this crowd in front of Strict Street that everybody was dancing. Derek Bolden was there, and my subs shut off, man, because my batteries were so low that my subs just shut off. And you know what? Them people didn't even give a shit that they shut off. They were still out there dancing. They didn't even care.
The mids and the highs still work.
Yeah, they didn't even care. They didn't even care. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's a show. Oh man, your sub shut off, man. Go ahead and turn it off. No, they didn't even care. Like dude, I have so much more fun, and anybody that tells you that they have way more fun at a show is lying to your face. I have more fun in the parking lot, at bike night, at Lone Star Rally on the Strand, at Rock Rally when we used to have it, or anywhere at a bike night. Everybody having turns and firing off their bike. It don't matter if you're a middleweight, lightweight, heavyweight, extreme, featherweight, 2-speaker, 4-speaker. Play your bike, bro. Play it.
So one thing I think would be cool, and I just thought about this talking to you about the DSPs, I think it would be really fucking cool if you had 10 bikes, 10 of your buddies, and then you had one phone that could connect to all 10 bikes.
You can do that.
I know, but have you ever seen it done? Because I've never seen it done.
So I helped build a slingshot, and I helped this guy at my job do a slingshot, man. And this guy at my job, I helped him build a slingshot, and he wanted everything waterproof. So we did 2 12-inch subwoofers, and we did 4 10-inch passive radiators with those, because he didn't want to do ports, he didn't want to do anything like that. He wanted everything waterproof. So he would go to shows, man, and to these side by side. It was a side by side. These side by sides, mudding and all this stuff, and he would pair with his buddies, and they would all play together. And it was wild, man. I was like, "What the hell?"
Can you imagine the sound it would make if you had 10 bikes that were 6-speaker and above.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the sound it would make having
Oh,
all those bikes firing off at the exact same time and everything? Dude, that would be
man.
badass.
Especially the way 6-speakers are now, man. Like, dude, like mid bass there's no longer a mid bass in this industry. And I'll say it. There's no longer a mid bass in this industry, man. It's like it's gotten to the point where there's when and I was talking to somebody earlier, and if they're watching, they'll know who I was talking to. And he's a very, very well known builder and parts seller in the industry. And he said once the mid bass got away from the accordion surround, it ruined everything.
Yeah,
Because
it
all
did.
of the accordion surround, and now you got these big rubber surrounds, and it's a mid bass, whatever, and it's cool, man. Like it's a mid bass, it's a mid bass. I can go connect to 10-inch subs, man. And there's a friend of mine, and he may be watching too. He did a sine wave on his 12-inch sub. I will not say what brand it was, but it's a very popular brand. He did a sine wave on his 12-inch subs, and at I think it was like 1250, 1500 hertz, he hit like 65, 70 dBs. And that's a subwoofer.
Really?
That's a subwoofer.
Like I know what that means. What does that mean? He hit
So
65
that's what they
dBs.
consider mid bass now, right? So back in the day, a mid bass was based off of frequency response when I started doing this. Anything that was below 40 hertz was not considered a mid bass, right? So I'm sorry, anything below 40 hertz was considered a subwoofer. Anything above 40 hertz was considered a mid bass. Now, anybody can make a speaker. You can make a speaker. I can make a speaker in my garage. Anybody can make a speaker and just label it as a mid, and it's a mid bass because it's sold from the manufacturer as a mid bass. So therefore, it's a mid bass.
Yeah, I have a pair of mid bass drivers myself.
I've seen a pair of what I like to call transmids. Okay, and
transmids. They're fucking subs that identify as
transmid, man.
That's the best.
And I've heard it said transmids, okay, next to the same brand subwoofer, okay, and it was like there wasn't that much difference, man. It's like nah, man, no. But hey, man, more power to the companies and more power to the people and more power to them. If you're selling them and you're doing what you're doing, that's cool. I personally don't agree with it, and there may be people that unfriend me after this live. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I don't agree with it. I'm not calling out any brands. I'm not calling any names, but there's a certain company that I personally believe, and I told multiple people that ruined Bagger Audio, and they ruined it. They ruined Bagger Audio when they came out with their transmit because it took away from the average 6-speaker. It took away from the average lightweight. It took away from those people to where they have to run bigger bags, steel imported. They have to, or they're not going to be competitive.
So that's the deal. So, like you just said a minute ago, why build for 5%?
Yes,
you're going to enjoy it 95%. So, see,
correct.
that's where I don't care. You want to run a subwoofer, run a sub. You want to run a mid bass, run a mid bass. I don't care. If your bag is sealed and ported, it doesn't matter. What matters is, are you happy? Did you have fun?
Yes.
Who cares if you won or lost? I don't care. I don't care if I get beat by everybody. As long as I show up, I show out, and I have fun. That's it.
You'd probably be the only one riding your bike home.
Well, I've seen some bikes here lately that amaze me. It makes me wonder, dude, how much money do you have in it? That's the other side of this. Because I know like a pair of 8-inch, what are they, $1,000 for one pair? Or is it one speaker? I don't know.
Well, it depends on what you're looking at. I know like the Euphoria carbon fiber coaxes, I think they go for like $1,300 to $1,500. I can't think of something like that.
And then you see a guy that's got 3 or 4 sets of them on a bike.
Yep.
And you're like, dude, you have so much money wrapped up in that.
Man, and I will pull my bike apart. And I'm not telling you that my bike is the baddest bike in the world. I'll pull apart and show anybody what's on this, man. I got PRV Ground Zero on this bike and crescendo tweeters.
That's good stuff.
PRV or crescendo tweeters, man. You don't now, I'm not down with bigger brands. You know what I mean? Absolutely. If I have more power to push to this bike and stuff like that, I would change stuff and I will go with the bigger brands. And I'm not downing bigger brands, but what I'm trying to tell to the average person is that it's attainable to get the sound that you want within your budget. Go talk to your builder. Go talk to the person that you want to build your bike and do a blueprint. Do a blueprint of what you want to do. You can't just show up to somebody and say, man, I want this. No, you got to do a blueprint. It's like building a house. You start out with a blueprint. You start out with everything like that. That's how you build a bike. That's how I see it. Like you don't, what bags you want to do, what speakers you want to do. You got to sit down and talk to that person so you build around not only their budget, but the power that they want to put to the bike. I mean, everything comes into consideration. It's like, if I want to go build $1 million house, I need to go find the land first.
Yeah.
Right. So that it all starts somewhere. You can't just up to somewhere. You have to talk to your builder. You have to know these things and know what you're talking about and get with your builder and actually sit down and take the time. You can build a phenomenal sounding bike with DS18, PRV, Scar, whatever you want, whatever unknown name brand you want to talk about. You can build a great bike. Now, is it going to go in and run all these people over? No, but are you going to be happy with it? Yes. If you're happy with it, it's your bike. So you don't have, talk to your builder before you start making all these changes.
Well, that's another thing. Even the big builders will tell you, you have to purpose build what you're building. You can't just go buy a set of bags, a set of lids, a tour pack, a fairing. You have to know what you're building first before you can go get those materials to build it with. And dude, there's so many stereo shops in Houston, as well as I do. Go to college, 45 in college. Hell, but you can throw a rock and hit 3 different ones.
Yes.
There's so many brands out there. And I love it when people say, yeah, but those are made for cars. They're going to sound different. Well, yeah, I know they're going to sound different, but here's the deal. It still makes noise. It's still.
What do you want?
Yeah.
And what can you afford? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not calling anybody, I'm not calling anybody out, but it's like, what do you want and what can you afford? You can't be expecting, and I put this the other day on a while back. I said, man, you can't be expecting Wagyu steak and go to burger. You know what I mean? Like, like, what do you want and what can you afford? You know what I mean? It's two different things. And it's like, man, and people got to realize that, you know what I mean? And there's so many people that I run into that want to build a bike. And their first thing is, I don't want to build a competition bike. I just want a bike that sounds good. Okay, cool. And then a builder will go over with them and they'll get a game plan and they'll build their bike. And then they go to a competition and they lose. And then they want to complain about that builder.
Yeah, which is wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like,
you said you didn't want to compete.
Yes.
And you're a budget parking lot pimper.
Exactly.
I did what you asked.
Yes. And I don't get that, man. And that kills me, man. And like I said, I mean, believe me, I believe in the higher brands, you know what I mean? Like they make phenomenal products. I'm not downing any of them. But you need to, like, there's people that will go and try to do things that is not feasible. You know what I mean? Like they'll go and try to say they want to throw a Euphoria XL coax in their bike, but they're like, oh man, I can only afford a 800 watt amp. Well, now it ain't gonna sound good. It ain't gonna sound good, bro. Like you need more power. Like it's not gonna sound good. So it's like you get that, like, and a lot of people don't understand that, man. I'm pretty sure you got multiple people popping up talking shit about me, man.
So nobody's talking shit. You're getting a lot of support, actually. So,
like we talk, hey man, I try to help everybody out. I like everybody. I love everybody. I get along with everybody. I don't hate nobody. But there's people that it is what it is. I'll just leave it at that.
What did my friend say? If they're not hating on you, you're not loud enough.
Yeah.
You're not doing something right.
Bro, and there is not, you can look on any post and not have any post have I ever said that I'm a builder or I'm a tuner? Not anywhere have I said that, because I don't feel that I am. Do I know what I'm doing? I do know what I'm doing, and I've done this, and I know I studied a lot. And then me and you talked about this before, but I'm not gonna go out there and be like, "Oh, I'm the best tuner, I'm the best builder, this and that or whatever." Nah, that's not my style. Like, and there's people that want to say, "Oh, well, Greg thinks he's a tuner, and Greg thinks he's this and that." It's like, man, you feel inferior about yourself.
Yeah.
That's why you're my name.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny when because you told me that there's people out there that don't like you because they think you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, how? Because the green turd has fucking ran over just about everybody in Houston that I know of. And your bike before the green turd ran everybody over,
Yeah,
including me. I mean, you beat up everything with that bike, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
no,
I had 4 Memphis Audio 6x9s in my bike originally, and I thought that was the best bike in the fucking world. And then I heard yours, and I was like, well, this is some bullshit, man. I got to change the whole goddamn game up. But I
and that's,
didn't.
man, that's how it goes. We're always always evolving in this game. You know what I mean? It's just like car audio. Everybody's all, back in the day, there was, nobody in car audio hitting 188 decibels, 105 decibels. You know what I mean? That's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's always involved. It's always evolving, man. And I get it. It's like cell phones, man. You buy an iPhone 14, and then 2 months later, the iPhone 15 comes out.
Yeah.
It's always evolving, man. That's why I tell everybody, build your bike to where you're happy with it. There's always going to be somebody out there that's a bigger, badder dog that's going to pull up and just blow everybody away.
Oh,
But how often is that going to happen? You know what I mean? How many bike nights can I go to? Can you go to? Can Lee go to? Any of these people? How many bike nights or any shows that they can go to with their motorcycles and just shut everything down with their audio? You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. If you're happy with it, who cares what anybody else says, man? It's all about the customer. It's about making the customer happy.
It's about going out and having a good time.
Yeah. When I go and tune a bike and I see a customer and, I'm not a tuner, disclaimer, you know what I mean? I don't want anybody to get mad. When I go and tune a bike and I see the customer just like look at me, he just lights up, you know what I mean? You see that smile, you see that look in their eyes. And then it's like, wow. Whether I think it, I'm not gonna leave until I think it sounds good. I went and tuned a bike the other day, man, and this dude had 2 6.5s and 2 6x9s. Okay, DB drives, all wired together. And I went and tuned his bike the other day, man. And we pulled it out and we were listening to it and stuff like that. I just looked at him. He was just like, what the hell, man? I didn't even know my bike can sound like this. Now, it's not a competition bike because of what it has on it, but that dude was super happy because it's his bike.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he's happy with what he bought, and he's good with that.
Yes.
All right, dude. Well, we are over an hour. It goes so quick, doesn't it?
Time today, man. I'm sorry, man. I need to go back. I need to go back and look at all the hate comments, man.
So yes, you go back and look at the comments. There's no hate, and if there is, I can't see it. I literally have this on my phone so I can read the comments.
Before we get off, Kevin, I want to tell you one thing, man. Look, this is the first time I've done a live since I've been doing this forever, and I want to thank you so much for allowing me to come onto your show and talk about, just stuff, audio, motorcycle, and stuff like that. I really appreciate it, man, and thank you for inviting me on your show. And it means a lot to me.
Well, dude, it's my pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to do it, because I like having guys like you on the show to just talk, because and not that there's anybody I can't talk to, but when you get people that they're not in a big, huge shop, but they're people that people know your bike. People have heard your bike. People know who you are. You have a pretty solid reputation in the audio game and the motorcycle game. People know that. When you can bring that into this show, people are interested, because not everybody wants to compete. Not everybody wants to go spend 30, 40, 50 grand to have audio bikes. Some people want to keep the bag stock. Some people want to keep the fairing stock. They just want to add 2 speakers up front, put the lid cutouts in, maybe some lowers, but then get out there and rip all weekend. They want to go to Dallas for the weekend.
Absolutely.
So, dude, I appreciate you for coming on the show. And dude, anytime you want to come on, you ever want to promote anything, hell, if you just want to hang out and chit chat again, let me know. You'll always be welcome on the show.
Yeah, and like we talked the other day, I'm always open if you ever need. Let me know, man. I extra large on that legacy bike shirt, bro.
You got it, brother. Well, good,
All
man.
right.
We'll go have a good night, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Bye. So there you guys go. Hell of a night. That's great. Hey, Devin, you heard him say extra large on that legacy shirt. Just saying. For all you guys watching, I appreciate you for watching on YouTube tonight. I really, really appreciate it. For everybody that's watching on my personal page, thank you so much for watching it too. It was a good show. I really appreciate Greg, the Green Turd. Everybody knows him. It was just a good show tonight, and I appreciate you guys watching. Do me a favor, push the share button, share the video, put the video out there for me. You guys go have a kick-ass night.